Have Wizards of the Coast gone insane? I saw that as one overreaction by another Magic YouTuber, and normally a Magic YouTuber that I don't watch. I don't know why it was in my feed. YouTube really wants to push some of the shittest content around to me. Yesterday we got the ban and restriction announcement for March, and it was an interesting one. I wouldn't say Wizards of the Coast are insane for this, but it certainly is interesting. Let's take a closer look at it and talk about some of my thoughts surrounding the bans, or lack of bans for that matter. I will link to the entire ban and restriction announcement down below in the description. And if you're looking to pick up cards to play in these formats, you can do so in America from coolstuffinc.com. Use the code Kenobi at checkout to get 5% off your order and help support the show. And if you're buying from Europe, you can go to magicmadhouse.co.uk, use the on-screen code here to get 5% off your order for everything except for pre-orders. And it helps support the show. First up, there was the news of literally no bannings in Standard, which was not what most of us expected. I've been playing a bit of the Roots deck in Standard, but I haven't been playing a huge amount of it, so I don't really have a strong opinion about the current state of it. I haven't really felt that any decks are truly oppressive, but Brian Kibler did a very good video breaking down some of his problems he has, specifically with Monstrous Rage and Up the Beanstalk. Monstrous Rage is the 1 mana +2/+0 and a monstrous roll token, which is +1/+1 and trample. So essentially 3 power plus trample in a 1 mana combat trick, which on first glance you might not think is that good, but in reality it's probably the best combat trick they've ever printed. And in Standard right now, it's in 3 of the top 5 decks according to Goldfish. All 3 of those decks are just variations on different prowess. You've got Mono Red that uses Swift Spear, you've got Gruul Aggro that uses some sort of combination, then you've got Gruul Prowess that uses more of the prowess package than Gruul Aggro does. And whilst Monstrous Rage is the key card from these decks, there is an entire package of mice and critters from Bloomburrow that seems to show up in all these decks too, namely Hearthfire Hero, Hired Claw, and Emberheart Challenger, as well as Manifold Mouse. And I want to reiterate, that's in all 3 different versions of this deck. I'll be completely honest, I don't find this very useful from Goldfish or from Wizards of the Coast in separating out these 3 archetypes to be 3 different, slightly different ones. Gruul Aggro and Gruul Prowess being the biggest offenders, as they're not even adding an extra color or enough of a different card base to warrant a different slot in the metagame. Essentially, when you do this, you absolutely obfuscate how bad a situation might be in terms of metagame share or domination. In this case, with Mono Red Prowess, you can see is 12.7%, but both Gruul Aggro and Gruul Prowess have a 6-point-something% metagame share as well. When you combine all of them, you get up to that magical 30% number, which might be the issue we need to discuss. Meanwhile, Esper Self-Bounce, or Esper Pixie as everyone else is calling it, even Wizards of the Coast, has a 16.8% meta share and doesn't really have another deck sharing all the cards with it. There are other decks in those colors, like the Omniscience combo or Azorius Control sharing 2 of the 3 colors, but they're very, very, very different decks. Like 80% different decks. Meanwhile, there is another self-bounce deck further down the list, but again, it's missing out the essential cards like Pixie, which I think makes it a different version of the deck in all fairness. And then you got 4 colors Zur at 6.9% and Domain at 2.8% according to Goldfish's stats. Again, these decks are largely the fucking same, just one of them is playing Atraxa and the other one isn't. All of this just serves to make the metagame seem healthier than it is. And I'm not saying it's, strictly speaking, unhealthy. I think there's a lot of things going on in Standard right now that are good, and it's quite a fun format to play. Like I said, I've been playing the Roots deck and a bit of Goblins this morning, and I enjoyed playing both of them. But there is this pressing issue that there are 2 things in the format that nothing else can compete with, arguably 3. That's Pixie, Up the Beanstalk, Domain, cheating on mana costs to draw cards, and the red decks, essentially. And like this morning, I played Goblins, and I got run over real hard by the mono red deck. I beat it in game 2, it didn't have a single monstrous rampage, but then in games 1 and 3, it had 1 in the first one and 2 in 3, which meant it just ran me over. There's no chance of me blocking or having any meaningful decisions about how combat was going to go, which is one of the problems that Brian Kibler has with Monstrous Rampage. I don't know why I keep calling it Monstrous Rampage, the card's called Monstrous Rage. The problem with Rage and Beanstalk, and to a lesser extent the Pixie deck, because the Pixie deck is more of a synergistic pile than any real outlier, although people would argue that it's this talent big enough for the both of us, which I cannot think of the card without thinking of that one song by The Darkness. If you know, you know. The truth is, no other card or deck is going to outdraw the Up the Beanstalk deck, whilst we have so many things that trigger it that are cheaper than their actual costs to play, like Leyline's Binding and the Overlords. And this is why Up the Beanstalk is banned in Modern. There are more ways to abuse it, including the Elementals from Modern Horizons and other pitch or discounted cards, absolutely. Affinity being another way of playing with it, which is pretty fun. But its banning in Modern does make me raise an eyebrow about how well it can perform in current Standard, and it being a linchpin of one of the better decks. That's another eyebrow raised. Now both my eyebrows are raised. Meanwhile, Monstrous Rage was banned in Alchemy, and them not wanting to fucking rebalance it. I think the argument was that, like, once you take a point of power off this, it's not even the same card, but they could have done that. The banning in Alchemy was very strange to me. But the problem we really have is that the current Pioneer, like, challenge, the online challenge that just happened, Mono Red Aggro featuring Monstrous Rage came in 2nd place, 5th place, 6th place, 7th place, 8th place, 9th place, 10th place, 11th place, 14th place, 15th place, 16th place, 17th place, 23rd place, 26th place, and 28th place. A big shout out to Robert Taylor Fireshoes, who posted this stuff to social media. It's super interesting to see this. He's a great follow. And then on the other side of things, we had the Arena Championship, where 6 out of top 8 decks were some form of mono red or red aggro, which featured all of the cards we talked about earlier, the fucking mice and the Monstrous Rage. Look, I'm not really clamoring for this ban because I don't play standard enough, or haven't been smashed to death enough, or felt oppressed enough by this. But this morning playing Goblins, I did wonder to myself, both because Arena fucked over something I could do if I had full control, but didn't give me full control, but also because I wasn't a Monstrous Rage deck, is it really worth playing any other red deck in the format? The argument Wizards would make is that Tarkir and Final Fantasy will both make seismic changes to the format. I just don't think if all these 5-mana dragons coming out of Tarkir are going to really have that kind of effect on the Mono Red Menace. Sorry. The Red X Menace. 50% of the decks in Standard right now are red-green as well, right? Sorry, 50% of the aggro decks, sorry. I guess you could argue Pixie's an aggro deck, so like 60% of the metagame is like is aggro, just half that 60% is red-green or red-X, playing, you know, 20 of the same cards. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the place you want Standard to be, but I can understand letting Tarkir land and seeing how it goes. The problem is I think Wizards of the Coast are still stuck in this fucking mindset that they can't ban things regularly because it diminishes confidence in the format, which is quite literally the opposite. We saw this with Nardu. That was for Modern, but still, it made people pissed off and upset they couldn't play the format. And I also think that sticking to some sort of rhythm you've put in place through some sort of archaic system from like when paper was the thing is dumb. The game is highly evolving, fast evolving. The 2 tournaments I just mentioned were both digital, Magic the Gathering Online and Arena respectively, and thus you have to be evolving quicker with that. Now I know I come from this position where I'm a content creator who has access to the vast majority of cards across both systems thanks to being my job or being endorsed by companies that make the game or sell the cards. I get that. So bans hurt me far less. But I do think unhealthy metagames have more of a problem in terms of hurting the game. Look, pros are going to argue that you can play around the mono red deck by having the correct sideboard cards and mainboard cards and stuff like that, and that's almost certainly true. I'm not saying you can't play around Monstrous Rage. It's specifically very bad into your deck if you're playing a hell of a lot of removal, right? But the point is, if it's stifling to the creativity or the evolution of the format, you're going to actually hurt the entry into Standard, the people who want to go down to the local stores and play. I mean, there might even be an argument that actually having the red decks be some of the best decks in the format makes it easier for players to get into the format. Maybe that's an argument to be made. But either way, I can't agree with no changes. I'm actually a bit shocked that it happened. I thought the only certainties would have been Monstrous Rage going, maybe up the beanstalk, and then Underworld Breach. On that note, let's talk about Modern. I started really enjoying Modern again around Karlov Manor. I was playing Blue-White Taxes, and then there's this Black-White Flicker deck that's come around thanks to, not Karametra, what's her bloody name? Ketramos. His name, sorry. I keep thinking it's a woman, but it's not. But the reason I haven't played any is because when Underworld Breach style decks are the best decks, we have to sit through a turn of then comboing like a madman. Yeah, no thank you. Underworld Breach is a combo card that allows you to do ludicrous combo lines out of the graveyard and have multiple angles of attack that were all quite difficult to interact with the same cards, and thus it was resilient to hate. It was enabled by Mox Opal, but of course Mox Opal came off the ban list recently, and thus Underworld Breach is much more a better candidate to get banned while Mox Opal finds its home in the format. That said, on a long enough timeline, I can imagine Underworld Breach and Mox Opal both end up on the ban list in Modern. I think Underworld Breach was something that no one was surprised about. Even the people winning events with it were completely and utterly in the know that Underworld Breach would not survive. The only question was whether or not Opal went back into the prison or Underworld Breach bit the dust. It ended up being Underworld Breach. I think that's completely reasonable. Personally, the other realistic outcome I would like to see was just more unbannings. Your Ponder, your birthing pods and such. I would just love to see that because it was so exciting when they unbanned Splinter Twin and they unbanned all the other stuff like Mox Opal. It was a really fun time and I really enjoyed making videos. The hype was high. People were enjoying the format. People still are enjoying the format. So I think unbans is a good way to go. The other way I would have liked to have gone, which is less realistic and is very much a personal bugbear of mine, is to have a heavier hand about banning out some of the absolute dog shit from Modern Horizons. Boros Energy is still a very prominent deck, which is basically a Modern Horizons block constructed deck. That really pisses me off. Eldrazi Ramp is, again, largely a block constructed Modern Horizons deck. That kind of pisses me off. And I'll be honest, Psychic Frog is the kind of card that I just do not enjoy playing against. I almost removed it from my cube recently because I find the card so frustrating, but other people enjoy it, and I don't think it's like oppressive. I don't know, actually it's probably the best 2-drop in the format right now. I would love to see cards from all these decks get hit, and maybe just hit a few other bits and bobs. Just like really shake the format up with unbans and bans, but we'll see. Maybe they can do more with it. They can be more heavy-handed with Modern because they've admitted that and said they can be. If you would like to see some Modern on the channel, if you want me to see me playing the Black-White Flicker deck on the channel, which I've been putting off because of the Breach Menace, let me know in the comment section below, and we'll see some Modern gameplay on the channel. In Legacy, we saw Sowing, Microspawn, and Troll of Khazad-dûm get banned. Sowing Microspawn was a linchpin of the Eldrazi deck, one of the more prominent decks in the format right now. Is essentially a card that allows you to ramp from your 4 mana slot right up to your 6 or 7 mana slots to go from 4 mana threats like this and Thornrod Seer right up to Devourer of Destiny, Null Drifter, and on occasion some Planeswalkers I think too. The deck was very, very good. I know that quite a few players, our Legacy players, were hoping that Kozilek's Command might be the one to put the dust. I think they don't want to remove a core part of the deck's identity, but instead remove the thing that strip mines people and grabs Scale Ice Cradles and Soul Lands. A reasonable choice. With Dimir Reanimator still being the best deck and the most prominently played deck in the format, and it's sharing a load of cards with blue-black tempo as well, according to the Goldfish stats, that's 20% of the metagame. I would have loved to see something from these decks get hit. And again, I'm going to say it's going to be Psychic Frog. But that's a pet peeve of mine. I find the card frustrating. The interesting thing about the format right now is that the decks that were playing Psychic Frog have moved away from it and are playing all sorts of other cards instead. Maybe I should play more Legacy again. I kind of, again, I've been off the format for a little while, playing more Standard and Pioneer than Modern or Legacy, weirdly. I guess it's good to move around the formats from time to time and see Magic from a fresh angle. It's actually been very enjoyable. Troll of Khazad-dûm was just an auto including all the black decks to go and find your, or should I say, it's an auto including the reanimated decks that could then reanimate it off of a reanimate spell. So not only do you have like basically a tapped fetch land when you had Troll of Khazad-dûm in play, because you pay 1 mana to go get it, kind of like a Rupture Spire style effect, but then it also fueled you just making a big old fatty as well. So it's a land drop that was also a fatty. The card is insanely good. I'm just surprised to see it hit the ban list, honestly. Like, I guess these motherfuckers are never going to ban Daze, are they? Or like Reanimate or any of the other cards that constantly make these decks a problem. They're going to hit everything but. Literally everything but. Including Troll of Khazad-dûm. The card is so powerful, I don't know. I don't know if it is ban worthy. But like I said, haven't played a huge amount of Legacy recently. Maybe with just like a couple of leagues under my belt, I'd see the point or problem. And then Pauper is absolutely insane. It's the most respected format, it seems, by Wizards of the Coast, with the most love being shown. With Baskin Brood Scale, Cold Oath Rebirth, and Deadly Dispute all getting banned. That's one of the aggro cards, one of the combo cards, and I don't fucking know what was playing Deadly Dispute, but here it is getting banned. Meanwhile, Prophetic Prism and High Tide are back. Prophetic Prism is a cantripping mana rock that draws you a card. That's what cantripping means, Vince. And then it can also filter your Tron land mana into coloured mana, and it can be flickered with Ghostly Flicker. And thus you've now got the option to play multicolored Tron again, which has me excited to try the format once more. This sounds like the kind of thing that I can get behind, some red-black or blue-black Tron. Meanwhile, High Tide, the cube staple, the card that makes your islands tap for multiple bits of mana, is back. Namely because the cards that it really comboed with by flickering them, which was like Cloud of Fairies and Peregrine Drake, they've both been banned for quite some time now, so it's time for High Tide to come off the list. Honestly, I really like this is a shake-up, because like weakening like the red aggro decks and stuff, and the value plans of Deadly Dispute, I assume it was played alongside, oh no, I'm assuming, I read the article on it, it's Ica Wellspring, isn't it? That's the card. But removing these and then bringing back other archetypes like Colored Tron or like a blue High Tide deck is super interesting. I'm here for it. I even played some High Tide this morning. The game that I won, I basically used up my entire clock making, I had infinite mana, but on Modo you have to go for the motions. So I made infinite mana by Ghostly Flickering a land and an Archaeomancer once I had multiple High Tides cast. And then lastly, eventually you go digging with card draw spells that you get back with Archaeomancer, or you grab back this mill spell from the bin and then cast it, needing 50 plus mana to mill people out. Basically, I don't think this is the direction High Tide will end up going, and if it is, it's just not good enough, or at least it's not good enough to play in digital. In paper, you can demonstrate a loop and say you've now got 500 mana. In digital, you've got to click through, and yeah, you're gonna waste your clock trying to get there with this. Also, I didn't win the match because my deck was bad. It was a first draft of playing High Tide, right? Again, if you want to see more Pauper on the channel, make yourself known. Say it down in the comment section below. Let me know. Interact with me on my Discord. Interact with me on social media. Let me know you want to see Modern or Pauper on the channel, and then you might get to see some. And that's it. A rather interesting, but not exactly earth-shattering banned and restricted announcement. no matter what other YouTubers might tell you. I think the changes to Pauper were dramatic. So if you're a Pauper fan, that's fucking awesome, right? And the modern change was just something we were all just waiting for. We were like in a waiting room for the Underworld Breach-less version of Modern to release. Legacy, I don't know how healthy the format is. I'm about to start playing it more because I might be playing at an event in Belgium coming up. So is that enough? I don't know. Neither of those cards seem fun for me, but I don't play those decks, right? I say this, so Micro Spawn is a very fun card to resolve. It's just that I don't tend to play the Cloud Post or Eldrazi decks. So what did you think of the banned and restricted announcement? Let me know in the comment section below. I do read the comments against my better will. I'm going to continue to play Standard, and with the release of Tarkir, there will be some Standard videos on the channel, at least a handful. We'll see if I just feel outclassed by the current existing things. So I'm not going to play the best decks in the format for videos because no one wants to see that. Or do you? Let me know in the comment section below. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Be good to one another, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you really like what I do, Patreon down below, get involved with the Discord server, come chat to me there. Ta-ta for now.